Right. So recently, capital market regulator SEBI directed AMCs to constitute a unit holder protection committee or UHPC. Now, this committee will have an independent review mechanism that will look at decisions of AMCs from unit holders' interest. Let's understand this, and for that, let's welcome on board Nirav Karkera, head of research at FISDM, and let's understand the SEBI's moves that will impact investors as to how will they benefit. More importantly, Nirav, good evening and welcome to the show. So clearly, once again, and one more step coming up from the regulator, which is for the benefit and protection of investors. But then, how exactly is this committee going to be like, and what exactly will be reviewed? I mean, Unit Holder Protection Committee clearly sounds like a committee that will take care of the unit holders' interest. But then, what exactly are we talking about?
Absolutely. So, Kavita, like you rightly pointed out, the Unit Holder Protection Committee is literally going to focus on what it sounds like. It is going to focus on the protection of unit holder rights. So, SEBI has this long drawn agenda on investor protection, and it has been progressing on this agenda really well. We have noticed a flurry of regulations in line with the same. Larger theme of protecting investor interests, and this time around this is focused on unit holders of mutual funds. So very specifically, this committee is going to be formed within AMCs. It is now mandatory to form such a committees that is specifically focused on unit holder protection. Obviously, almost every AMC already has an internal team that is focusing on protecting the interest of unit holders. However, there is clearly a need for unit holders to also be represented by an independent representative and a body that is dedicated towards thinking from its perspective and voicing their opinions and their concerns on the inside as well. And this has a lot to do with decisions across the AMC as a corporate, across product and service levels. So, this committee is going to focus on a lot many things. To name a few, it will focus on the efficacy of implementation of several investor protection and awareness campaigns that several AMCs launch. It will also focus on a lot many decisions that are made during fund management, not very specific to investments, but at a broader fund management level, whether it moves in the interest of unit holders or not. And this is very specifically important during times of during anomalies wherein something goes off track, or there is a special situation wherein AMC needs to exercise its discretion and make certain amendments. That's when this committee will be observing and overseeing that the entire process is aligned in favor with unit holder interest more than anything else.
So far, I mean, what happened, due to which the thought of forming this committee even crossed the regulator's mind? Because so far, whatever announcements or whatever steps the AMCs have to take, which impacts the unit holder, is very transparent, and that has to be informed to the regulator. And in fact, nothing goes beyond their say. So, what exactly made the regulator decide about such a committee?
So I would say it is not just an isolated event that led to this. It is probably a series of observations. If you notice, over the past couple of years, there have been several instances wherein a decision related to an investor awareness program, or let's say a particular fund segregating, or let's say a close-ended fund rolling over, or in case of a shutdown of a fund, how are the proceeds going to be recovered and redistributed. There are a variety of such events that keep happening within the industry. Now, most such events also create a lot of division amongst investors and AMCs also. So quite often than not, it happens so that many investors are not really happy with the way asset management companies are making such decisions, and it is not always possible for the regulator to step in. It is also important that there is a more direct and a more closer committee that is looking at all of these happening and ensuring that the decisions taken are in interest of the larger public, or in this case the unit holder group. So it is a series of such events wherein investors have not been very happy with the way, AMCs went about deciding. Obviously, the jury is still out on, whether the decisions taken in certain instances were actually good in public interest or not. But the general unit holders, there was a general sense of resentment that their voice wasn't really heard as well as it should have been, and that they could have been represented better, and that their interests could have been taken care of in a better manner. So having such a committee actually addresses most such issues in the foreseeable future. Obviously, things at a larger scale will be directly escalated to the regulator. The regulator will step in, but this ensures that the issues that can be handled more amicably, and the issues where the gap is only of representation, such issues are handled in a much more streamlined manner, in a much more friendly, amicable manner between the AMC and the unit holders. So this makes the operational layer of this entire regulation much more simpler, ensuring that investor interests are protected more directly. So yeah, a series of events have possibly culminated into such a regulation.
Right. So Nirav, I know this is still in the planning phase, and AMCs are yet to come up with their own thoughts on this particular committee. But then, who exactly can be a part of this committee? Will there be specific AMC people who might be given this responsibility, or you think that SEBI might just come up with independent people who might just oversee all of this?
Yeah, so initially, obviously, the proposal was to have more than two-thirds representation by independent director. However, through consultation, the regulator seems to have come to a point wherein there is a lot more freedom assigned towards the AMC board towards constructing the form and overall format of such a committee. However, the regulator seems very clear with the fact that such a regulation will make sense only if there is a adequate and more than adequate representation by independent entities, in this case, independent directors. So one could expect a committee to be formed by relevant internal AMC employees, the most relevant people to the subject. At the same time, it can be expected to have adequate representation by independent directors who have limited to no vested interest in the AMC operations whatsoever.
All right. Now, clearly, also we know that this committee has still been proposed. But then, so far, do you know, or are you aware of any kind of guidelines or any kind of format that AMCs are following, which could be similar to what this committee is, being set up for?
So AMCs internally have a customer grievance redressal system, and it has an internal team that is completely tasked with the assignment to handle customer grievances and ensure that the grievances are redressed in the most effective and efficient manner. This forms a part of their internal grievance redressal mechanism, and a little bit of overlap with the internal compliance structure. There is a slight bit of overlap there, but it is not, while some AMCs may have a very dedicated committee or a dedicated department that tries to amicably resolve any differences between AMC and unit holder, points of view. But there is no very fixed sort of a structure or a committee of this sort that has been mandated or is at least uniform across the asset management industry. So, while AMCs have smaller departments, and there are compliance and grievance redressal officers and mechanisms all nominated, assigned, and tightly in place, this one is very distinct in its approach and is going to be tasked only, unlike most other things that we spoke about, this one is going to be tasked with only the objective of thinking and voicing opinions on behalf of unit holders.
All right, so this is all about the Unit Holder Protection Committee that SEBI has proposed to be formed by all the AMCs. Thank you so much, Nirav, for being on the show and helping helping our viewers understand every aspect of this particular news. Thank you. All right, so we'll take a quick break, and post that, let's talk about insurance policies for LGBTQ+ and same-sex marriages. What is the plan ahead in terms of life insurance and health insurance? All of this after this break.